Welcome back to the Fenway Rundown. We are very pleased to be joined by Garrett Crochet, who is not golfing in the team tournament today because he would much rather, of course, be with us on the show. I assume that's a right read?
Yeah, that, and I'm married and it's Valentine's Day. Pick whichever one you want.
As you've gotten here in camp, Fort Myers, gotten to know your teammates, you've said the acclimation process has been smooth, it's been easy. Just what has made this such an easy transition as you go from the only organization you've ever known to being in this one?
Not to bring it up, but obviously last year the team that I was on really underperformed. So I think that this year with the expectations and the goals that we have really added to the energy around the clubhouse. I think that since I've been here, everyone's been really excited and really working hard and just trying to prepare for the season ahead.
How much did it help, Garrett, to have the winter to process this a little bit? You are not a deadline acquisition. You are not a late free agent signing coming into camp the way Alex Bregman's going to be. This got done at the end of the winter meeting, so you've had a couple of months to be in touch with new teammates, talk to team officials, get your program set. How much did that help the transition for you?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I feel like is, for my wife, like we were able to kind of get housing figured out early, which, in season that could be challenging trying to get a short-term lease or something like that. And then as well, I was kind of able to take it at my own pace, being able to connect with AC and Brez pretty early, as well as some of the guys at the Fan Fest. I think that was nice, and that kind of helped kickstart our relationship.
You obviously are entering this season, as you said, the team is with massive expectations, probably a lot bigger than a year ago when you were just starting for the first time. I think the DraftKings and FanDuel odds have you second most likely to win the AL Cy Young. Is that something you embrace? Do you take a moment to kind of recognize that you've gotten to this point? And how do you kind of not get ahead of yourself with some of that stuff?
I think it's like anything in life, I suppose control what you can control. It's something that I embrace for sure, but I still have to go out there and do it. Kind of like you said, just be where my feet are and not get ahead of myself. Just trying to make it to opening day or whenever my first start may be, and just throw 31 more after that.
For the last couple of years, it's known that the Red Sox have been in the market to try to get a top of the rotation guy, an ace, if you will, to lead that staff and rotation. That's you now. Despite just one full year of starting at the big league level, but people look at the numbers, the ability, the quality of the stuff, and project you for that. What does ace mean to you? What does being a number one mean to you? How do you view that responsibility that comes with that? And is there someone that you're kind of modeling yourself after as you start to attain that title?
So I'll answer those questions in reverse order. I wouldn't say I'm modeling myself after anyone, really just trying to be myself. But it's a huge compliment, to be awarded that title, so to speak. I think right now it's still up for grabs, but it's one that I'm fighting for and one that I want to earn the right way. It's to me though, I suppose that ace just means someone that the clubhouse can rely on, and someone that's predictable what you're going to get, I suppose. A very consistent and with their work on the mound and away from the mound, and that's kind of what I try to embody.
For you, last year must have been kind of strange because, for a lot of reasons probably, but you are having a breakout season as a starter, enjoying all the success, all-star, and you're on a team that is the worst record in baseball history. How difficult was it or awkward to kind of square your personal success with what the team was going through and, be high on your accomplishments, but also understanding what the situation was around you?
It's not as hard as you'd think. Just being in a team sport, it's like my success means the team has success, and I think that me making it to the All-Star game, I didn't do it by myself. So it wasn't really something that I felt like was like a burden of mine to keep quiet about it. My teammates are very happy for me, and I wouldn't have gotten there without them. So I was really able to reflect on a lot of that this offseason. But yeah, it's tough to navigate, but it's I don't know, I almost can't put words to it. It's everyone in baseball is just trying to do their job. Everyone on a team is trying to do their job to the best of their ability, and then at the end of the day, you either win or lose.
What can you learn from being on a team with that record?
that you don't want to do it again. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that. Because the clubhouse all year, we had a really strong clubhouse. It was just we underachieved, quite frankly. That was really it. It's, I think just continue to put work in the offseason, come to spring training ready to go.
You didn't choose here. You weren't a free agent. You were traded here. But you have said that you actually had a dream of being traded to the Red Sox, and now that's a reality. What is it about this franchise, this city, this group of guys that appeals to you as a newcomer?
I think that it kind of starts with, the legacy that this organization has built, especially here in the past 20 years. You look at what they've, like I said, you look at what they've done, and it's an organization that you want to dream upon. Especially last year when they came to town, it's a brand of baseball that's admirable. You have the power, but you also have the speed. You have guys that are hungry and that want it. I feel like I'm in a similar age range to a lot of the core guys here, so that's really exciting. It was just a place that I was able to see myself.
What have you learned about Alex Cora and the time since you've been a member of this organization?
Yeah, even going back to before I was a member, playing with Martin Maldonado last year, had nothing but great things to say about him. So far that I feel like I've learned that, he's a straight up guy, he's a team guy, and he wants to win.
There is another newcomer this week here. That's Alex Bregman. We made a reference to him earlier.
He's about 15 feet away from us, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of history with him, or at least your dad does. And I know that he was a guy that you looked up to and thought very highly of when you were younger. Tell us a little bit about that backstory, and what was your reaction when you found out, as all of us did on Wednesday night, that he was indeed coming here?
So I had met my dad at a barbecue competition down in Van Cleef, Mississippi, probably about a year ago, which was just the most random thing ever. I told that story in jest. I thought that it was funny, but I didn't think other people would think it was. But yeah, it's really cool to add a bat like that to our lineup and add a glove like that to the defensive side of the ball. I think that everyone's fired up, with the idea of having him here on board.
What can you learn from a guy like him or a guy like Walker that have been to the mountaintop and have won? Like, what are the questions when you're picking the brain of those guys do you ask?
Yeah, with Walker, I feel like, like everyone's talked about, like we've talked about, last year being my first year of starting, it's like I have a really good idea of what I need to do, in between starts, but there's other areas where I could definitely, fill in the gaps. Sequencing and stuff like that. He's right-handed, I'm left-handed, so it's a little bit different. Our arsenals don't fully match up. But really just picking his brain on how that sort of thing works. It's, you're facing guys multiple times through the lineup. How are you pitching them separately, or what are you using in the first at bat to then set up in the second at bat, as well as how do you prepare for a season ahead after you're pitching all the way into the last week of October, which is where we hope to be this year. So those kinds of questions. I think that it also kind of involves when you're throwing 180 innings, when you're throwing 200 innings. Last year I threw a lifetime high. And it's, I feel like I was navigating, my between start throwing routine very well, but how could I just, better hone in on that?
You come to camp now fully healthy. That maybe there were some question marks in your head last year about how are you going to hold up with the starter's responsibility and workload? How is the elbow going to deal with the pressure that comes with being a starter every 5 days? That's behind you. Mentally, how different is your mindset and your peace of mind knowing that you're over that side of the mountain and that you can handle what's being asked of you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a really good spot, not just physically, but like you said, mentally. The confidence that I'm feeling right now is so natural, and it's something that I've never felt, my entire life playing baseball. I feel like I'm truly, rising to the top of my game, and yeah, it's exciting. The workload that, I'm prepared to take on this year. I want to be a guy that throws 6-7 innings every time out, and at the end of the year, you look up and I'm, in the upper echelon of aces in the league.
When you look at the live BP the other day, 97, 98, to come out and do, I don't know if you had butterflies for that, but first time in a Red Sox uniform facing hitters, stuff like that, is that something that is a good sign this early?
That's just me, to be fair. I feel like every time that I touch the mound, there's a hitter in the box. Things kind of trend upwards. I think all pitchers are that way, especially the first time that you're really throwing with pants on. You'll see another bump there. But I'd say I'm right where I expected to be.
The fact that you hit 97, 98 in an otherwise empty stadium at 11:30 on a Thursday morning, some guys need that adrenaline, right? They need fans in the stands. They need a game situation. You didn't have that, and yet obviously you didn't have any problem at all reaching back for that premium gas on Thursday.
Yeah, I did at the alternate site in 2020 with an even emptier stadium and at an even earlier time in the day. But for me, I take a lot of pride in the work that I put in this offseason and with my ability on the mound. So I'm trying to win it at any given moment, and the velo is just a byproduct of that.
There was so much talk at the trade deadline last year about you obviously heading into the winter. I know you've been asked this before, but how much does that creep into the back of your mind or your wife's mind or whatever it is just throughout the last year? And do you feel different being in a new place, having that settled now?
Yeah, definitely. It was very relieving when it finally went through, to be honest. I'd say, going back to last May, that was kind of when, started seeing things on social media that there was potential there. So it didn't feel like we had the rug swept out from under us or anything. It felt like we were finally on solid ground once the trade went through. Big relief.
For Red Sox fans, the trade that brought you here was step one. A lot of Red Sox fans want step two now, which would be to extend you past 2026 with 2 more years of team control. I know that you've kind of acknowledged that there were some feeling out talks between your representatives and Red Sox management. How do you deal with that kind of going on, maybe in the background, and you're getting periodic updates, but you're also focused on physically getting ready, getting to know new teammates, understanding the new coaching staff and organization? Mentally, where are you as your agents and reps take care of that part of your life?
Yeah, I think that's why having an agent that you trust is so huge. They've been with me through the highs and lows. So I've built a really strong foundation with them. And like you said, just separating the two. When I come to the field, I'm here to work, and I'm here to, do whatever is next to my name on the schedule that day. And then, later when I go home, if I get a call from them, I do. If I don't, then, I'll just hang out with my wife and dog and watch TV or do whatever.
The last thing, you're a Tennessee guy. There's a lot of SEC representation in this clubhouse now between Bregman, LSU, Bueller, obviously Vanderbilt, some Texas guys. What are Saturdays in the fall going to look like in this clubhouse?
Yeah, Halleck was joking about it because it was me, him, and Bueller the other day. But when Bueller was in college, I'm pretty sure he beat up on both of us. So I don't think that there's going to be much rivalry there for me personally, because I'm not a big football guy. But it definitely will be interesting to follow. Although, the in-state rivalry, the Tennessee and Vanderbilt game, it's, I don't know, apples to oranges, I suppose. So I don't think that Bueller will be too concerned.
Garrett Crochet, we very much appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.